Have you ever wondered what it was like at the dawn of creation, when the void was filled with the voice of God bringing light and life into existence? Can you imagine walking in the Garden of Eden, where humanity first knew the Creator's love, only to face the devastating consequences of disobedience? What if you could witness the flood that reshaped the earth, or stand with Noah as he received God's covenant, marked by a rainbow of promise? Have you ever felt the weight of a divine calling, as Abraham did, stepping into the unknown with nothing but faith in God's word? Are you ready to journey through the book of Genesis, from the first light of creation to the trials of Abraham, in a story that unveils the origins of God's redemptive plan? Through the sacred pages of Genesis, we will witness the beginning of all things, the creation of the world, the fall of man, the flood of judgment, and the covenant with Abraham, a promise that would echo through generations. In this sacred narrative, we are called to reflect on the origins of humanity, the consequences of sin, and the hope of redemption as God's plan unfolds with love and justice. The air is filled with the scent of infinite light, a radiant aroma of eternity that wraps around me like a celestial scroll, the sound of my breath echoing softly in the void. I witness a journey that stirs the soul with its eternal truths. A journey that unveils the origins of the world, a journey that echoes through eternity as a testament to the power of God's love. In the beginning, darkness reigned over the abyss, a formless void where nothing existed. Yet God's Spirit hovered above the waters, ready to work wonders that would transform. What happened? God divided the waters, creating an expanse. He called sky a vast canopy of blue that stretched above the earth, separating the waters below from the waters above. The air filled with the scent of divine separation, a sacred aroma of distinction that shimmered like a celestial light. The sound of my reflection whispering softly. He divides it, forms a separation that would change the course of eternity. A separation that would reveal the depth of God's purpose. A separation that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of His love. Evening came, and morning followed the second day, a day that established the heavens above. Genesis 1:8. On the third day, God's voice echoed once more. Let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let dry ground appear. Genesis 1:9. The waters obeyed, gathering into one place, and dry ground emerged, a vast landscape of earth that God called land, while the gathered waters He named seas. The air filled with the scent of divine formation, a sacred aroma of creation that resonated like a celestial song, the sound of my reflection whispering in awe. He gathers, it appears, a formation that would change the course of eternity, a formation that would reveal the depth of God's artistry, a formation that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of His love. God marveled at His work, seeing that it was good, a perfect foundation for life to flourish. But God did not stop there. He continued, His voice filled with purpose. Let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants and trees that bear fruit with seed in it, each according to its kind. Genesis 1:11. From the bare earth, vegetation began to sprout, a vibrant tapestry of green seed-bearing plants, stretching toward the sky, trees bearing fruit with seeds, each according to its kind, a symphony of life that filled the earth with beauty and abundance. The air filled with the scent of divine growth, a sacred aroma of life that shimmered like a celestial light. The sound of my reflection whispering softly. He plants it, blooms a growth that would change the course of eternity. A growth that would reveal the depth of God's provision, a growth that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of His love. Evening came, and morning followed the third day. Genesis 1:13. What if you could stand on that newly formed earth, feeling the first blades of grass beneath your feet, smelling the fresh scent of fruit trees, and witnessing the Creator's delight in His handiwork? The air filled with the scent of divine satisfaction, a sacred aroma of beauty that resonated like a celestial song, the sound of my question echoing gently. Do you marvel a satisfaction that would change the course of eternity? A satisfaction that would reveal the depth of God's joy, a satisfaction that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of His love. On the fourth day, God proclaimed, "Let there be lights in the expanse of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them serve as signs to mark seasons, days, and years." Genesis 1:14. And so the lights appeared dancing across the firmament in extraordinary fashion, marking the rhythm of seasons and the passage of time. Two majestic celestial bodies emerged: the sun, an imposing king ruling the day with its blinding light, and the moon, a mysterious queen watching over the night with her soft radiance. The stars, like tiny jewels scattered across the sky, illuminated the earth with their twinkling brilliance, a cosmic display of God's glory. The air filled with the scent of divine rhythm, a sacred aroma of order that shimmered like a celestial light, the sound of my reflection whispering in awe. He lights, they shine, a rhythm that would change the course of eternity, a rhythm that would reveal the depth of God's timing, a rhythm that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. God, pleased with his creation, smiled at the harmony of light and darkness, a harmony that would govern the earth. Genesis 1:18. On the fifth day, God declared, "Let the waters teem with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the expanse of the sky." Genesis 1:20. In an instant, the waters came alive, teeming with marine creatures of all shapes and sizes. Enormous sea animals plowed through the depths, while schools of colorful fish swam in perfect synchrony. In the sky, birds spread their wings, painting the heavens with their exotic plumage and filling the air with melodious songs. The air filled with the scent of divine life, a sacred aroma of abundance that resonated like a celestial song, the sound of my reflection whispering softly. He creates, they soar, a life that would change the course of eternity, a life that would reveal the depth of God's creativity, a life that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, fill the waters of the seas, and let the birds multiply across the earth." Genesis 1:22. Evening came and morning followed the fifth day. Can you hear the songs of the first birds, their melodies echoing through the sky, or see the vibrant fish darting through the seas, a testament to the Creator's boundless imagination? The air filled with the scent of divine diversity, a sacred aroma of wonder that shimmered like a celestial light, the sound of my question echoing gently. Do you marvel, a diversity that would change the course of eternity? A diversity that would reveal the depth of God's artistry? A diversity that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. On the sixth day, the earth trembled as God spoke again. "Let the land produce living creatures, livestock, wild animals, and creatures that move along the ground, each according to its kind." Genesis 1:24. In the blink of an eye, the earth transformed into a paradise, teeming with life. Herds of livestock grazed in lush meadows, wild beasts roared in the jungles, and reptiles of every kind crawled across the ground, leaving their marks on the newly created earth. The air filled with the scent of divine vitality, a sacred aroma of creation that resonated like a celestial song, the sound of my reflection whispering in awe. He forms. They live a vitality that would change the course of eternity. In an act of love, God planted a garden in the east in Eden, a special place for mankind, making every kind of tree grow that was pleasing to the eye and good for food. Genesis 2:8-9. In the middle of the garden, he placed the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, a garden teeming with life and sustenance, watered by a crystal-clear river that split into four streams: Pishon, Gihon, Tigris, and Euphrates, stretching to the ends of the earth. Genesis 2:10-14. The air filled with the scent of divine provision, a sacred aroma of abundance that shimmered like a celestial light, the sound of my With the rib in his hands, the Lord God shaped a woman, a perfect companion for the man, every curve and feature molded with love and purpose. Genesis 2:21-22. The air filled with the scent of divine creation, a sacred aroma of unity that resonated like a celestial song, the sound of my reflection whispering in awe. He forms, she lives, a creation that would change the course of eternity, a creation that would reveal the depth of God's design, a creation that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. The man awoke, gazing in wonder at the woman God had created, his voice quivering with emotion. "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man." Genesis 10:23. The man named his wife Eve, for she would become the mother of all the living, And it was established that a man would leave his father and mother to be united with his wife, becoming one flesh. Genesis 2:24. The air filled with the scent of divine union, a sacred aroma of love that shimmered like a celestial light. The sound of my reflection whispering softly. They unite. He blesses a union that would change the course of eternity. A union that would reveal the depth of God's purpose. A union that would echo desire to know the forbidden burned in Eve's heart, a spark that grew into a flame of rebellion. Unable to resist, she reached out her hand, trembling, and took the fruit, its forbidden allure too strong to resist. The taste was divine, a sweetness that awakened something within her, and she rushed to share it with Adam, who also partook of the forbidden fruit. The air filled with the scent of sin, a heavy aroma of disobedience that shattered the harmony of Eden. Like a celestial thunderclap, the sound of my reflection whispering in sorrow. They eat, they fall, a sin that would change the course of eternity. A sin that would reveal the depth of human frailty. A sin that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of God's justice. Suddenly their eyes were opened and they became aware of a hidden reality. They were naked, their nakedness once unnoticed, now filling them with shame. With trembling hands, they wove fig leaves to cover their vulnerability, seeking refuge in the garden's dense foliage. Genesis 3:7. The air filled with the scent of shame, a heavy aroma of guilt that weighed on them like a celestial storm. The sound of my reflection whispering softly. They hide. He seeks a shame that would change the course of eternity, a shame that would reveal the depth of their fall. A shame that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of sin. As the day cooled, they heard God walking through the garden, and in their shame, they ran to hide among the trees, desperate to avoid being seen. But God called out, his voice resonating with authority. Where are you? Genesis 3:9. The air filled with the scent of divine pursuit, a sacred aroma of justice that resonated like a celestial thunderclap. The sound of my reflection whispering softly. He calls, they tremble, a pursuit that would change the course of eternity. A pursuit that would reveal the depth of God's righteousness. A pursuit that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. The man replied, his voice trembling with fear. I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked. So I hid. Genesis 3:10. Who told you that you were naked? God asked, his voice piercing through their excuses. Have you eaten from the tree that I commanded you not to eat? From Genesis 3:11. The man, desperate to deflect blame, pointed to Eve. The woman you put here with me, she gave me some fruit from the tree, and I ate it. Genesis 3:12. Eve, tears streaming down her face, murmured, the serpent deceived me and I ate. Genesis 3:13. The air filled with the scent of divine judgment, a sacred aroma of accountability that weighed on Eden like a celestial storm. The sound of my reflection whispering in sorrow. They blame. He judges, a judgment that would change the course of eternity. A judgment that would reveal the depth of God's holiness. A judgment that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his justice. God turned to the serpent, his voice stern and solemn. Because you have done this, you are cursed above all livestock and all wild animals. You will crawl on your belly and eat dust all the days of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers. He will crush your head and you will strike his heel. Genesis 3:14-15. The air filled with the scent of divine curse, a sacred aroma of justice that resonated like a celestial song. The sound of my reflection whispering softly. He curses, it falls, a curse that would change the course of eternity, a curse that would reveal the depth of God's righteousness, a curse that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. To the woman, God said, I will make your pains in childbearing very severe. With painful labor, you will give birth to children. Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you. Genesis 3:16. To the man he declared, cursed is the ground because of you. Through painful toil, you will eat food from it all the days of your life. It will produce thorns and thistles for you, and you will eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your brow, you will eat your food until you return to the ground, since from it you were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you will return. Genesis 3:17-19. The air filled with the scent of divine consequence, a heavy aroma of judgment that weighed on them like a celestial storm. The sound of my reflection whispering in sorrow. He judges they suffer a consequence that would change the course of eternity, a consequence that would reveal the depth of God's justice, a consequence that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. God made clothing from animal skins for the man and his wife, dressing them with care, a final act of mercy before the inevitable Genesis 3:21. The air filled with the scent of divine mercy, a sacred aroma of compassion that shimmered like a celestial light, the sound of my reflection whispering softly. He covers. The sound of my reflection whispering in sorrow. He envies, he kills a sin that would change the course of eternity, a sin that would reveal the depth of human depravity, a sin that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of God's justice. In the arid plains east of Eden, Adam and Eve bore two sons, Cain the firstborn, who toiled under the scorching sun, pulling weeds from the stubborn earth, and Abel the younger, who led his flock through the pastures, his face lit by a peace Cain had never known. One day Cain shouted to Abel, his voice filled with frustration, "God seems pleased with you, but not with my offerings. What do you have that I don't?" The air filled with the scent of envy, a heavy aroma of resentment that weighed on Cain like a celestial storm, the sound of my reflection whispering softly. He envies, he rages in envy that would change the course of eternity, an envy that would reveal the depth of human weakness, an envy that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of sin. Abel, stroking one of his lambs, replied with calm assurance, "It's the heart, brother." God looks at the heart, set for 1 Samuel 16:7. Abel's words echoed in Cain's mind, fueling the dark shadow of envy that grew within him. Days passed and Cain's envy festered, a poison that consumed his heart. One night under a star-studded sky, he made a decision, his eyes hiding his true faithfulness, an assurance that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. In the final days of construction, tension reached its peak. Clouds began to form on the horizon, a constant reminder of the impending storm. Then God commanded, "Enter the ark, you and all your household, for I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. Take with you 7 pairs of every clean animal, male and female, and a pair of the animals that are not clean, male, and its mate, also 7 pairs of the birds of the heavens, male and female, to keep their offspring alive on the face of all the earth. For in 7 days I will send rain on the earth, 40 days and 40 nights, and every living thing that I have made I will blot out from the face of the ground." Genesis 7:1-4. At dawn, from the farthest corners of the earth, the animals began to arrive. Elephants, lions, deer, and birds of every hue and size converged on a single point as if guided by an invisible force. The air crackled with tension and urgency, the timing impeccable. But the challenge lay in maintaining calm amidst the chaos. As the last pair of animals boarded the ark, the sky suddenly darkened. The first raindrops fell, followed by an unrelenting downpour. Everyone inside Noah commanded his family, entering the ark and glancing back one final time at the world they were leaving behind. The air filled with the scent of divine preparation, a sacred aroma of provision that shimmered like a celestial light, the sound of my reflection whispering softly. He gathers, he saves, a preparation that would change the course of eternity, a preparation that would reveal the depth of God's mercy, a preparation that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. Suddenly, the doors of the ark began to close. A strong wind gusted and the rain started to fall with fury, droplets turning to torrents in mere seconds. The people, at first curious, soon became panic-stricken, crying Noah was right. They rushed toward the ark, pounding on the doors. "Let us in," but it was too late. The waters rose, rapidly swallowing cities and mountains. The screams outside fading, replaced by the unsettling sound of water and creaking wood. Genesis 7:17-20. The air filled with the scent of divine wrath, a heavy aroma of justice that weighed on the earth like a celestial storm, the sound of my reflection whispering in sorrow. He judges they perish, a wrath that would change the course of eternity, a wrath that would reveal the depth of God's holiness, a wrath that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his justice. Inside the ark, Noah and his family listened to the roar of divine judgment, their hearts filled with fear, but also hope, the creaking of the wood and the sound of the water, a constant reminder of God's power. God wise asked one of Noah's sons, his voice trembling. Noah replied, his words heavy with gratitude, because we found favor in his eyes. Genesis 6:8. The air filled with the scent of divine mercy, a sacred aroma of hope that shimmered like a celestial light, the sound of my reflection whispering softly. He spares, they hope, a mercy that would change the course of eternity, a mercy that would reveal the depth of God's love, a mercy that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his grace. For 40 days and 40 nights, the rain did not cease, the ark rising above the waters, floating on an endless sea of destruction. Finally, the flood subsided, and the ark came to rest on Mount Ararat. Noah, trembling, opened the window and sent out a dove. On the third attempt, the dove returned with an olive leaf in its beak, a sign of new life. Genesis 8:11. The earth is dry. Noah announced, his voice filled with hope. The sun rose on the horizon, bathing the renewed earth in its warm light as Noah and his family gazed upon the new world that awaited them. The air filled with the scent of divine renewal, a sacred aroma of restoration that resonated like a celestial song, the sound of my reflection whispering in awe, he restores. They live a renewal that would change the course of eternity, a renewal that would reveal the depth of God's promise, a renewal that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. God spoke once more, his voice echoing with authority. Leave the ark, you and your wife, your sons and their wives. Bring out every kind of living creature that is with you, the birds, the animals, and all the creatures that move along the ground, so they can multiply on the earth and be fruitful and increase in number. Genesis 8:16-17. Noah obeyed, stepping onto the renewed earth, his family by his side, and built an altar, offering sacrifices to God. I am making a covenant with you, God said. Never again will I destroy all life with a flood. I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. Genesis 9:11-13. The air filled with the scent of divine covenant, a sacred aroma of promise that shimmered like a celestial light, the sound of my reflection whispering softly. He promises they trust a covenant that would change the course of eternity, a covenant that would reveal the depth of God's faithfulness, a covenant that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. Without another word, they took a blanket, walked backward to avoid seeing their father's nakedness, and respectfully covered him. Genesis 9:23. The air filled with the scent of divine honor, a sacred aroma of respect that shimmered like a celestial light, the sound of my reflection whispering softly. They honor, he blesses an honor that would change the course of eternity, an honor that would reveal the depth of familial love, an honor that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of righteousness. The next morning, Noah awoke the wine's hangover, nothing compared to the humiliation he felt upon learning what had transpired. Ham, what have you done? He asked, his voice filled with pain and disappointment. Genesis 9:24. Ham, seeing the fury in his father's eyes, remained silent. Noah, overcome with anger and sorrow, pronounced a curse. Cursed be Canaan. A servant of servants shall he be to his brothers. Genesis 9:25. Then Noah turned to Shem and Japheth, who had covered him with respect, and blessed them. Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem. May Canaan be the slave of Shem. May God extend Japheth's territory. May Japheth live in the tents of Shem, and may Canaan be the slave of Japheth. Genesis 9:26-27. The air filled with the scent of divine blessing, a sacred aroma of favor that resonated like a celestial song, the sound of my reflection whispering in awe. He blesses, they prosper, a blessing that would change the course of eternity, a blessing that would reveal the depth of God's justice, a blessing that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. Noah, the righteous man who had survived the flood, was also human, susceptible to weaknesses, a reminder that even the faithful are not immune to sin. Time passed and the new earth began to fill with life and activity. Noah, who lived another 350 years after the flood, reaching the incredible age of 950, watched his children and grandchildren grow in a renewed world. Genesis 9:28-29. When Noah finally breathed his last, his family surrounded him. A righteous man has died. Shem said his words heavy with emotion, but his spirit and teachings will live forever. The air filled with the scent of divine legacy, a sacred aroma of continuation that shimmered like a celestial light. The sound of my reflection whispering softly, "He departs." They inherit a legacy that would change the course of eternity, a legacy that would reveal the depth of God's promise, a legacy that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. Through Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, God repopulated the earth, their descendants spreading across the lands. Shem became the ancestor of the Semites, including the Hebrews. Ham's children became the fathers of many African and Asian nations, and Japheth's sons founded European and Asian nations. Chapter 7, the Tower of Babel, the scattering of humanity. The air shimmers with the scent of human ambition, a heavy aroma of pride that unfolds like a celestial storm. The sound of my reflection whispering in sorrow. They build, he scatters an ambition that would change the course of eternity, an ambition that would reveal the depth of God's authority, an ambition that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his judgment. Humanity united by a single language gathered in the vast plains of Shinar, their hearts filled with ambition and pride. "Let us build a city and a tower that reaches the heavens," proclaimed Nimrod, their leader, his voice resonating with determination. "We will make a name for ourselves so we won't be scattered across the face of the earth." Genesis 11:4. The project progressed rapidly, bricks piling up, the tower rising imposingly toward the sky. As Nimrod commanded, "Higher, it must touch the firmament." The air filled with the scent of human pride, a heavy aroma of rebellion that weighed on the plain like a celestial storm. The sound of my reflection whispering softly, "They rise. So it shall be." A moment that marked the beginning of diverse nations, yet also a reminder of the consequences of pride. The air filled with the scent of divine lesson, a sacred aroma of humility that resonated like a celestial song. The sound of my reflection whispering softly, "They fall." He teaches a lesson that would change the course of eternity. A lesson that would reveal the depth of God's wisdom, a lesson that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. Chapter 8, the call of Abraham, the beginning of a chosen people. The air shimmers with the scent of divine promise, a sacred aroma of covenant that unfolds like a celestial scroll. The sound of my reflection whispering in awe. He calls, he obeys, a promise that would change the course of eternity. A promise that would reveal the depth of God's plan, a promise that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. In the midst of a world filled with idolatry, God chose a family to become the people who would bring the promised Messiah into the world. One night, as the stars shone brightly, a heavenly voice broke into the life of Abraham, a man from Ur of the Chaldeans. "Leave your homeland, your people and your father's household, and go to the land I will show you." The voice commanded, clear and powerful, resonating in Abraham's heart like a celestial thunderclap. Genesis 12:1. The air filled with the scent of divine calling, a sacred aroma of destiny that shimmered like a celestial light. The sound of my reflection whispering softly, "He speaks, he listens," a calling that would change the course of eternity. A calling that would reveal the depth of God's purpose, a calling that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. "I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you I will curse. And all peoples on earth will be blessed through you." Genesis 12:2-3. Abraham was left breathless. How could an ordinary man be chosen for such an immense destiny? Born in Ur of the Chaldeans, a bustling Mesopotamian city where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers gave life to the land, Abraham's father Terah was respected, but their days were simple, filled with rituals in a polytheistic society. The divine call transformed him, a brutal awakening and a radical break. "Why me?" Abraham whispered under the starry sky. The night heaven seemed as infinite as the promise he had received. The air filled with the scent of divine mystery, a sacred aroma of purpose that resonated like a celestial song. The sound of my reflection whispering softly, "He chooses, he wonders," a mystery that would change the course of eternity. a mystery that would reveal the depth of God's selection, a mystery that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. At 75 years old, Abraham's incredible story began. He decided to face his fears and depart his heart full of hope and budding faith. "We're leaving," he announced to Sarai, his wife, his voice resolute. "Where to?" she asked, concern in her eyes. "To the land the Lord will show us," he replied with determination. With unwavering faith, he obeyed the Lord, setting out with Sarai, his nephew Lot, and all their possessions, heading toward Canaan, a journey fraught with uncertainty, but guided by divine promise. The air filled with the scent of divine journey, a sacred aroma of faith that shimmered like a celestial light. The sound of my reflection whispering softly. They journey, he leads a journey that would change the course of eternity, a journey that would reveal the depth of God's guidance, a journey that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. They crossed Haran and finally reached Canaan, a land of rolling hills and fertile valleys where dwelt the Canaanites in fortified cities, each ruled by its own king. Abraham traveled through the country until he reached sacred Shechem, beneath the majestic oak of Moreh. Suddenly the Lord appeared again and declared, "To your offspring I will give this land." Genesis 12:7. Moved, Abraham built an altar there and prayed to the Lord, his heart swelling with gratitude for the promise that would extend to his descendants a lineage that would bring forth the Messiah. The air filled with the scent of divine promise, a sacred aroma of inheritance that resonated like a celestial song. The sound of my reflection whispering in awe. He promises they inherit a promise that would change the course of eternity, a promise that would reveal the depth of God's covenant, a promise that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his faithfulness. But soon the promised land turned hostile. A severe famine struck Canaan, the fertile soil turning to dust, livestock dying, and provisions growing scarce. One night Abraham lifted his eyes to the sky, crying, "Why have you brought us here seeking answers among the stars?" But silence was his only answer. With a heavy heart, he made a decision. "We'll go to Egypt," he announced. Sarai looked at him with concern. "What about the Lord's promise we must survive?" Abraham replied, hiding his doubts behind a resolute gaze. The journey to Egypt would be dangerous, but staying meant certain death. The air filled with the scent of human desperation, a heavy aroma of survival that weighed on Abraham like a celestial storm. The sound of my reflection whispering softly. He doubts, he acts, a desperation that would change the course of eternity. A desperation that would reveal the depth of human struggle. A desperation that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of God's provision. On a starlit night, a powerful voice echoed in Abraham's mind. "Fear not, Abraham, I am your shield. Your reward shall be great." CF. Genesis 15:1. These words filled his heart with hope, yet fear still dwelled within him. He knew Sarai, his beloved wife, was his greatest treasure, and he feared for her life in unknown lands. To protect her, he devised a plan. "When the Egyptians see you, they'll say, 'She's his wife,' and kill me to have you. Please say you're my sister," he pleaded. Genesis 12:13. Sarai nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation, her trust in Abraham unwavering despite the uncertainty. The air filled with the scent of divine guidance, a sacred aroma of clarity that shimmered like a celestial light. The sound of my reflection whispering softly. He speaks. He obeys a guidance that would change the course of eternity, a guidance that would reveal the depth of God's sovereignty, a guidance that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. At dawn, Abraham rose, his heart heavy but resolute. He took bread and a skin of water, approaching Hagar's tent with a solemn expression. "You must leave," he said, his voice steady but laced with sorrow, avoiding her gaze as he handed her the provisions. Hagar looked at him in disbelief, her voice trembling with anguish. "Leave where to?" "To the desert." Abraham replied, his tone firm yet pained. "God will be with you." After all this time, she protested, tears welling in her eyes. "Is this how you send us away?" "It's necessary," he said, his voice breaking slightly. "I can do no more." With tears streaming down her face, Hagar took Ishmael by the hand and left the camp, the vast desert stretching endlessly before them, a barren expanse of sand and heat that seemed to swallow them whole. The sun beat down mercilessly, the heat stifling, and their water skins soon ran dry. Ishmael, weak and dehydrated, collapsed under a bush, his small frame trembling as he whispered, "Mother, I can't go." True to his promise, God made Ishmael the father of a great nation, his descendants flourishing in the desert lands, a testament to the Lord's faithfulness even in the midst of human conflict. Genesis 21:21. For Abraham, the departure of Ishmael was a painful sacrifice, but it cleared the path for Isaac to become the heir of the covenant, the child through whom God's promises would flow to future generations. The air filled with the scent of divine purpose, a sacred aroma of covenant that shimmered like a celestial light, the sound of my reflection whispering softly. He separates, he fulfills a purpose that would change the course of eternity, a purpose that would reveal the depth of God's plan, a purpose that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. Chapter 10, The Sacrifice of Isaac, a Test of Faith. The air shimmers with the scent of divine testing, a heavy aroma of obedience that unfolds like a celestial trial, the sound of my reflection whispering in awe. He tests, he trusts, a testing that would change the course of eternity, a testing that would reveal the depth of Abraham's faith, a testing that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of God's provision. As Isaac grew, Abraham's love for him deepened the child of promise, a constant reminder of God's faithfulness. But one day God tested Abraham in a way that would shake the very foundations of his faith, a trial that would demand the ultimate sacrifice. The Lord's voice resonated with authority, cutting through the stillness of the night. "Abraham, Abraham, ever faithful," responded immediately, his voice steady, despite the late hour. "Here I am," Genesis 22:1. The command that followed pierced Abraham's heart like a dagger. "Take your only son Isaac, whom you love, go to the region of Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering on the mountain. I will show you," Genesis 22:2. The words hung heavy in the air, each syllable a weight that threatened to crush Abraham's spirit. Isaac, the son of promise, the child he had waited decades to hold the fulfillment of God's covenant, was to be sacrificed. Abraham's mind reeled, a storm of emotions swirling within him, confusion, fear, and a deep aching sorrow that clawed at his chest. How could God ask this of him? How could the promise be fulfilled if Isaac was taken? The air filled with the scent of human anguish, a heavy aroma of conflict that weighed on Abraham like a celestial storm. The sound of my reflection whispering softly. He hears, he trembles, an anguish that would change the course of eternity, an anguish that would reveal the depth of human struggle, an anguish that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of faith. Yet Abraham's faith sustained him, a quiet resolve settling over him as he clung to the God who had never failed him. He rose at dawn, his movements deliberate, his heart heavy, but his trust unshaken. He gathered the wood for the offering, saddled his donkey, and called for Isaac and 2 servants, setting out for Moriah without a word of the task ahead. The journey took 3 days each step, a test of Abraham's obedience, each mile a silent prayer that God would provide another way. On the 3rd day, Abraham looked up and saw the mountain in the distance, its peak shrouded in a solemn mist that seemed to whisper the weight of the moment. He turned to his servants, his voice steady despite the turmoil within. "Stay here with the donkey. The boy and I will go over there to worship, and then we will come back to you." Genesis 22:5. The words were a declaration of faith, a belief that God would somehow preserve Isaac even in the face of this unimaginable command. Abraham placed the wood on Isaac's shoulders, the boy strong and trusting, unaware of the purpose of their journey. Abraham carried the fire and the knife, the tools of sacrifice, their weight, a constant reminder of the task ahead. As they walked up the mountain, the silence between them was heavy, broken only by the sound of their footsteps on the rocky path and the distant cry of a bird circling overhead. Isaac, his voice innocent and curious, turned to his father and asked, "Father, we have the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the balm to his wounded heart? Do not lay a hand on the boy or harm him. Now I know that you fear God, for you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me." Genesis 22:12. Abraham dropped the knife, his body shaking with relief, tears of gratitude streaming down his face as he untied Isaac, pulling him into a tight embrace. "Father," Isaac exclaimed, his voice a mix of fear and wonder, his small arms clinging to Abraham. "God is merciful," Abraham replied, his voice trembling with awe, caressing his son's face as he held him close. the warmth of the boy's life a miracle in his arms. Abraham looked up his eyes, catching a movement in the brush. A ram caught by its horns in a thicket stood waiting a divine provision in the moment of greatest need. Without hesitation, he took the ram and offered it as a burnt offering in place of Isaac, the smoke rising to the heavens as a testament to God's mercy. Genesis 22:13. The angel of the Lord called to Abraham a second time, its voice resonating with divine promise. I swear by my own name that because you have done this and have not withheld your son, your only son, I will surely bless you. I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and as the sand on the seashore. Your offspring will conquer the cities of their enemies, and through your descendants, all nations on earth will be blessed because you have obeyed me. Genesis 22:16-18. The air filled with the scent of divine provision, a sacred aroma of mercy that shimmered like a celestial light, the sound of my reflection whispering softly. He provides, they worship a provision that would change the course of eternity, a provision that would reveal the depth of God's grace, a provision that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. Abraham named the place, "The Lord will provide," a name that would echo through generations as a reminder of God's faithfulness. Genesis 22:14. Father and son descended the mountain, their bond deepened by the trial, their faith strengthened by the miracle they had witnessed. This moment on Mount Moriah became a foreshadowing of the ultimate sacrifice God would provide through his own son, a lamb who would take away the sins of the world, a testament to the depth of his redemptive plan that stretched across the ages. Chapter 11. The death of as a burial site. Genesis 23:8-9. Ephron, present among them, offered, "My Lord, I give it to you, the cave, and the surrounding field are yours." But Abraham, honoring the customs of the land, replied, "No, I will pay the fair price." Genesis 23:11-13. Ephron named the price 400 shekels of silver, and Abraham weighed out the silver, securing the cave and the field as a family burial site. Genesis 23:15-16. The air filled with the scent of human honor, a sacred aroma of commitment that shimmered like a celestial light, the sound of my reflection whispering softly. He buys, he honors an honor that would change the course of eternity, an honor that would reveal the depth of Abraham's devotion, an honor that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. Abraham buried Sarah in the cave of Machpelah, facing Mamre, the first piece of the promised land. He owned a resting place for his family for generations to come. Genesis 23:19-20. As he stood by her grave, the wind whispering through the trees, Abraham felt the weight of his loss, but also a quiet resolve to continue the journey God had set before him, knowing Sarah's legacy would live on through Isaac, the child of promise. After Sarah's death, Abraham found companionship in Keturah, whom he married, and together they had 6 more children: Zimran and Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua, expanding the family. God had promised him Genesis 25:1-2, but his heart turned to Isaac's future, knowing the covenant rested on his son's shoulders. Abraham, now advanced in years, called his loyal servant Eleazar, entrusting him with a sacred task. "Do not get a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I am living, but go to my country and my own relatives and get a wife for my son Isaac." Genesis, a confirmation that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his will. The next day, Eliezer prepared to leave, and Rebekah, with her family's blessing, joined him on the journey back to Canaan, her heart open to the unknown future ahead. As they approached Abraham's camp, Isaac was meditating in a field at dusk, the golden light casting long shadows across the land. He looked up, seeing the camels in the distance, and Rebekah, noticing him, asked Eliezer, "Who is that man coming through the field toward us?" "It's my master," Eliezer answered, and Rebekah covered herself with a veil, a gesture of respect and modesty. Genesis 24:65. When they met, Isaac's eyes met hers, and without a word, a deep love was born, a connection that transcended the moment, as if their souls had been bound by God's hand before they ever met. "Rebekah," Isaac said softly, his voice warm with welcome. "You are home." Rebekah raised her eyes, her gaze meeting his, and in that instant, she knew she had found her place. Isaac brought Rebekah into his mother Sarah's tent, and she became his wife, her presence filling the void left by Sarah's death. He loved her deeply, and she brought him comfort in his grief, a new chapter beginning for the family of promise. Genesis 24:67. The air filled with the scent of divine union, a sacred aroma of love that shimmered like a celestial light. The sound of my reflection whispering softly. They meet, they love, a union that would change the course of eternity. A union that would reveal the depth of God's provision. A union that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. Abraham, seeing his son happy, felt his mission was fulfilled. Knowing the covenant would continue through Isaac and Rebekah, their love, a foundation for the generations to come. Chapter 12, the death of Abraham, a legacy of faith. The air shimmers with the scent of human departure, a heavy aroma of farewell that unfolds like a celestial, closing the sound of my reflection whispering in sorrow. He departs. They mourn a departure that would change the course of eternity, a departure that would reveal the depth of human legacy, a departure that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of God's promise. As Abraham's years advanced, he knew his time on earth was drawing to a close. His body weary, but his spirit at peace, having seen God's promises begin to unfold through Isaac. He called Isaac to his side, his voice calm, but filled with purpose. My son, I leave all my possessions to you. You are the son of the promise I made with Sarah. It is your duty to continue the legacy God has given us. Cf. Genesis 25:5. Isaac, now a grown man with a family of his own, nodded solemnly, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders like a sacred mantle. I will honor your legacy, Father. He promised, his voice steady despite the emotion in his eyes, his heart swelling with gratitude for the faith Abraham had instilled in him. The air filled with the scent of human commitment, a sacred aroma of duty that shimmered like a celestial light. The sound of my reflection whispering softly. He promises, he inherits a commitment that would change the course of eternity, a commitment that would reveal the depth of familial duty, a commitment that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of faith. Abraham smiled, his weathered face softening with relief, knowing the covenant would continue through his son, the promise of a great nation secure in Isaac's hands. Meanwhile, in distant lands, Ishmael, Abraham's first son with Hagar, heard news of his father's failing health. Despite the years of separation and the pain of his departure, Ishmael felt a pull in his heart to return to see his father one last time and honor the man who had given him life. He set out on the long journey back to Canaan, his steps quickening as he neared the camp, memories of his childhood flooding back, the laughter of his early years, the pain of leaving, and the promise God had made to make him a great nation. When he arrived, Isaac was surprised to see him, his voice a mix of caution and curiosity. Ishmael, what are you doing here? Ishmael's eyes, softened by time, met his brother's as he replied, I've come to say goodbye to our father. Genesis 25:9. The air filled with the scent of familial reunion, a sacred aroma of shared history that shimmered like a celestial light. The sound of my reflection whispering softly. They meet, they mourn, a reunion that would change the course of eternity. A reunion that would reveal the depth of familial bonds. A reunion that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of love. Abraham, lying on his bed, sensed the presence of his sons, his breathing shallow, but his spirit at peace. He opened his eyes, a weak smile forming on his lips as he saw Isaac and Ishmael standing side by side, their differences set aside in this moment of farewell. With profound peace, Abraham breathed his last at the age of 175, his life a testament to faith, obedience, and the enduring promises of God. Genesis 25:7-8. Isaac and Ishmael, despite the years of separation and the complexities of their shared history, united in their grief, their hands working together to prepare their father's body for burial. They carried Abraham to the cave of Machpelah, the family tomb he had purchased years ago, where Sarah in your womb, and two peoples from within you will be separated. One will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger. Genesis 25:23. When the time came, Esau was born first, his body red and covered in hair. A rugged child destined for the wild, followed closely by Jacob, who grasped his brother's heel as if unwilling to let him take the lead, a foreshadowing of their lifelong struggle. Genesis 25:25-26. Esau's name meant hairy, reflecting his appearance, while Jacob's name, meaning he grasps the heel or he deceives, hinted at the cunning that would mark his journey. Esau grew into a skilled hunter, a man of the field, his father Isaac's favorite, drawn to his strength and the savory game he brought home. Jacob, quieter and more contemplative, preferred the tents, finding favor with Rebekah, who saw in him the fulfillment of God's prophecy. Genesis 25:27-28. The air filled with the scent of human rivalry, a heavy aroma of competition that weighed on the family like a celestial storm. The sound of my reflection whispering softly. They compete. He ordains a rivalry that would change the course of eternity. A rivalry that would reveal the depth of human ambition, a rivalry that would blessing. But Rebekah, overhearing the plan, knew God's prophecy favored Jacob. She devised a plan to ensure her younger son received the blessing instead. "Quick, Jacob, bring me 2 young goats from the flock," she instructed, her voice urgent. "I'll prepare the food your father loves, and you'll receive the blessing in Esau's place." Genesis 27:9-10. Jacob hesitated, fear creeping into his heart as he considered the risks. "But mother, my skin is smooth while Esau's is hairy. Father will touch me and discover the deception. He'll curse me instead of blessing me." Genesis 27:11-12. Rebekah, her resolve unshaken, replied, "Let your curse fall on me, my son. Do as I say." Genesis 27:13. She prepared the meal, covering Jacob's hands and neck with goat skins to mimic Esau's hairy skin, and dressed him in Esau's clothes, the scent of the field clinging to the fabric to complete the deception. The air filled with the scent of human cunning, a heavy aroma of deceit that weighed on Jacob like a celestial storm, the sound of my reflection whispering softly. He fears, she insists, a cunning that would change the course of eternity, a cunning that would reveal the depth of human ambition, a cunning that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of deception. Jacob approached his father's tent, his heart pounding as he carried the savory food, the aroma wafting through the air, a disguise for the truth. Isaac's voice, frail but warm, greeted him. "Is that you, my son Jacob?" His voice, trembling with the weight of his lie, replied, "I am Esau, your firstborn. I've done as you asked. Sit up and eat, so you may bless me." Genesis 27:19. Isaac, puzzled, reached out to touch him, feeling the hairy hands and inhaling the scent of Esau's clothes. "The voice is Jacob's, but the hands are Esau's," he murmured, hesitating briefly before proceeding. Genesis 27:22-23. The blessing flowed from his lips, each word a sacred pronouncement. "May God give you heaven's dew, and earth's richness, and abundance of grain and new wine. May nations serve you and peoples bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers, and may the sons of your mother bow down to you." Genesis 27:28-29. Jacob's heart raced as he received the blessing, the weight of the moment settling over him like a sin. Jacob and Rachel, a love tested by deception. The air shimmers with the scent of divine providence, a sacred aroma of love that unfolds like a celestial romance. The sound of my reflection whispering in awe. He loves, they meet, a providence that would change the course of eternity, a providence that would reveal the depth of God's plan, a providence that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. Jacob arrived in the land of the eastern peoples, his journey leading him to a well in a field near Haran, where shepherds gathered with their flocks waiting to water their animals. The well was covered with a large stone, a communal effort required to move it, but Jacob's eyes were drawn to the horizon as he asked the shepherds, "Do you know Laban, son of Nahor?" They replied, "We know him. Look, his daughter Rachel is coming with her flock." Genesis 29:5-6. Jacob turned, and there she was, Rachel, her beauty radiant under the midday sun, her presence like a melody in the stillness of the field. She led her flock with a gentle grace, her steps light but purposeful, the sheep following her, with a trust that spoke of her care. Jacob's heart skipped a beat, a wave of emotion washing over him as he beheld her, a love so instant and profound, it seemed to have been written in the stars before time began. "Without hesitation, you 7 years for your younger daughter." Rachel, Genesis 29:18. Laban agreed, a sly smile playing on his lips, and Jacob set to work, his days filled with toil, but his heart light with the promise of Rachel's hand. The 7 years passed like days, so great was his love for her. The thought of her smile sustaining him through every hardship. Genesis 29:20. Finally, the day arrived. The wedding feast was prepared, the camp alive with celebration as Jacob, his heart swelling with joy, awaited his bride. But under the cover of darkness, Laban committed a deception that would echo the betrayal Jacob had inflicted on Esau years before. Instead of Rachel, Laban brought Leah, his older daughter, to Jacob's tent. Her face veiled her presence a secret until the morning light revealed the truth. Genesis 29:23. When Jacob awoke expecting to see Rachel's radiant smile, he found Leah instead, her eyes downcast, her presence a stark reminder of Laban's betrayal. His heart sank, anger and betrayal surging within him as he confronted Laban. "What have you done to me? Didn't I work for Rachel? Why have you deceived me?" Genesis 29:25. Laban, calm and unremorseful, replied, "It's not our custom to give the younger daughter in marriage before the older one. Finish this week of wedding celebrations with Leah, and I'll give you Rachel too in exchange for another 7 years of work." Genesis 29:26-27. Jacob's heart burned with frustration, the sting of deception, a bitter mirror to his own past actions. But his love for Rachel was stronger than his anger. He agreed, completing the wedding week with Leah, and a week later he married Rachel, the woman who held his heart, knowing he would serve Laban another 7 years. Genesis 29:28-30. The air filled with the scent of human deception, a heavy aroma of struggle that weighed on Jacob like a celestial storm. The sound of my reflection whispering softly. He deceives, he endures a deception that would change the course of eternity. A deception that would reveal the depth of human resilience, a deception that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of love. Jacob's love for Rachel remained unshaken, her presence a constant source of joy amidst the complexities of his new life with 2 wives. But the deception marked the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with rivalry, struggle, and the unfolding of God's plan through the family that would one day become the 12 tribes of Israel. The air filled with the scent of divine purpose, a sacred aroma of destiny that shimmered like a celestial light. The sound of my reflection whispering softly. He plans a purpose that would change the course of eternity, a purpose that would reveal the depth of God's sovereignty, a purpose that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. Chapter 16. Jacob's family, rivalry and growth. The air shimmers with the scent of divine blessing, a heavy aroma of rivalry that unfolds like a celestial struggle, the sound of my reflection whispering in awe. He blesses, they contend, a blessing that would change the course of eternity, a blessing that would reveal the depth of God's provision, a blessing that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. Jacob's household grew, but with growth came tension. His love for Rachel was evident to all, leaving Leah, his first wife, feeling unloved and overlooked. God saw Leah's pain, her heart aching for Jacob's affection, and in his mercy, he opened her womb, blessing her with children, while Rachel remained barren, her own heart breaking with each passing year as she longed for a child of her own. Genesis 29:31. Leah gave birth to Reuben, her voice filled with hope as she named him, "It is because the Lord has seen my misery, surely my..." Leah, seeing she had stopped bearing, followed suit, giving her servant Zilpah to Jacob. Zilpah bore Gad, and Leah said, "What good fortune." Genesis 30:11. A second son, Asher, followed, and Leah rejoiced. "How happy I am, the women will call me happy." Genesis 30:13. The rivalry between the sisters intensified their household, a battlefield of longing and competition. Each child a point in their struggle for Jacob's love and favor. The air filled with the scent of human competition, a heavy aroma of rivalry that weighed on the family like a celestial storm. The sound of my reflection whispering softly. They compete. He blesses a competition that would change the course of eternity. A competition that would reveal the depth of human jealousy, a competition that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of God's sovereignty. Years later, God remembered Leah, again opening her womb once more. She bore Issachar, saying, "God has rewarded me for giving my servant to my husband." Genesis 30:18. A sixth son, Zebulun, followed, and Leah's hope persisted. God has presented me with a precious gift. This time my husband will treat me with honor because I have borne him 6 sons, Genesis 30:20. She also bore a daughter, Dinah, her only girl among a household of boys, Genesis 30:21. But Rachel's longing remained a constant ache, her arms empty despite her victory through Bilhah, her heart yearning for a child of her own womb. She prayed day and night, her cries rising to the heavens, a silent plea for God to see her pain and answer her longing. Finally, after years of waiting, God heard Rachel's cry, his mercy descending like a gentle rain after a long drought. She conceived and bore a son, the moment a sacred culmination of her longing, her tears of sorrow turning to tears of joy as she held him in her arms. God has taken away my shame, she declared, her voice trembling with gratitude as she named him Joseph, meaning may he add a prayer that God would bless her with more children. Genesis 30:23-24. The air filled with the scent of divine mercy, a sacred aroma of answered prayer that shimmered like a celestial light, the sound of my reflection whispering softly. He hears, she rejoices, a mercy that would change the course of eternity, a mercy that would reveal the depth of God's compassion, a mercy that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. Joseph's birth marked a turning point for Jacob, his love for Rachel now embodied in this child, a son who would play a pivotal role in the unfolding of God's plan. Through the rivalry and struggle, God was weaving a tapestry of 12 sons and a daughter, the foundation of the tribes of Israel, each child a thread in the divine design that would shape the future of a nation. The air filled with the scent of divine purpose, a sacred aroma of destiny that shimmered like a celestial light, the sound of my reflection whispering softly, he builds, he plans a purpose that would change the course of eternity, a purpose that would reveal the depth of God's sovereignty, a purpose that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. Chapter 17, Jacob's departure from Laban, a journey of freedom. The air shimmers with the scent of divine liberation, a heavy aroma of tension that unfolds like a celestial escape. The sound of my reflection whispering in awe. He frees, they flee, a liberation that would change the course of eternity. A liberation that would reveal the depth of God's guidance, a liberation that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. Jacob's time in Haran stretched to 20 years, his wealth growing as his flocks multiplied, a sign of God's favor despite Laban's deceitful ways. But tension simmered beneath the surface. Laban's sons, envious of Jacob's success, whispered accusations. Jacob has taken everything our father owned. He has gained all this wealth at our father's expense. Genesis, wives, children, and livestock, moving swiftly and silently to avoid detection. Their departure, a carefully orchestrated escape from Laban's grasp. But unknown to Jacob, Rachel committed an act that would complicate their flight. She stole her father's household gods, small idols that held cultural significance, perhaps hoping they would bring protection or prosperity on their journey. Genesis 31:19. The air filled with the scent of Laban's figure disappear into the horizon, a weight lifted from his shoulders, the years of servitude and deceit fading into the past. He turned to his family, his wives and children gathered around him, their faces reflecting a mixture of relief and hope. The path to Canaan lay open before them, a journey back to the land of promise, guided by the God who had never forsaken them. The air filled with the scent of divine freedom, a sacred aroma of new beginnings that shimmered like a celestial dawn, the sound of my reflection whispering softly. He frees, they journey, a freedom that would change the course of eternity, a freedom that would reveal the depth of God's guidance, a freedom that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. Chapter 18, Jacob's reunion with Esau, a moment of reconciliation. The air shimmers with the scent of divine restoration, a heavy aroma of fear that unfolds like a celestial reunion, the sound of my reflection whispering in awe. He restores, they embrace a restoration that would change the course of eternity, a restoration that would reveal the depth of God's mercy, a restoration that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love. Jacob's journey back to Canaan brought him closer to a moment he had long dreaded, the reunion with his brother Esau, whose wrath he had fled years ago after stealing his blessing. The memory of Esau's vow to kill him haunted Jacob, a shadow that loomed over every step the fear of retribution, a constant companion on his journey, Genesis 27:41. But God, who had promised to be with him, was preparing a path of reconciliation, a path that would test Jacob's faith and reveal the transformative power of forgiveness. Seeking to appease Esau, Jacob sent messengers ahead to Seir, the land of Edom, where Esau had settled, bearing a message of humility and hope. Your servant Jacob says, I have been staying with Laban and have gained great wealth. I seek your favor. Genesis 32:4-5. But when the messengers returned, their words filled Jacob with dread. We went to your brother Esau, and he is coming to meet you with 400 men. Genesis 32:6. The news struck Jacob like a blow. 400 men could only mean one thing. Esau was coming for revenge, his army, a sign of the violence Jacob had feared for years. Panic surged within him, his mind racing with images of his family slaughtered, his children's cries echoing in his ears. The air filled with the scent of human fear, a heavy aroma of dread that weighed on Jacob like a celestial storm. The sound of my reflection whispering softly. He plans a fear that would change the course of eternity, a fear that would reveal the depth of human vulnerability, a fear that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of God's protection. Desperate to protect his family, Jacob divided his people, livestock, and possessions into two groups, reasoning, if Esau attacks one group, the other may escape. Genesis 32:7-8. He sent gifts ahead, flocks of sheep, goats, camels, cattle, and donkeys, hundreds of animals in wave after wave, hoping to soften Esau's heart before they met face to face. Genesis 32:13-15. Each herd was accompanied by a servant bearing a message. This is a gift from your servant Jacob to my lord Esau. A gesture. The air filled with the scent of divine transformation, a sacred aroma of renaming that shimmered like a celestial light, the sound of my reflection whispering softly. He renames, he rises, a transformation that would change the course of eternity, a transformation that would reveal the depth of God's purpose, a transformation that would echo through eternity as a testament to the power of his love.